Guests and callers, and not necessarily those of this station, its staff, management, or sponsors.
Welcome to the Ask the Experts Show with local experts in the fields of legal, health, financial, and home improvement. Enjoy being educated in such topics as personal injury law, community association law, family law, bankruptcy law, along with health show topics like pain management, men's health, and dental implants. Now, sit back and enjoy today's Ask the Experts with host Steve-O.
Good evening. This is another Ask the Expert show. We're on every Monday and Thursday from 6 to 7 during your drive time. We have some of South Florida's finest companies, are experts in legal, health, financial, and home improvement. Tonight, this is a great topic, especially because of the season. We're coming into rainy season now, and a lot of people do not know what a public adjuster does. So we have a new public adjuster, certified property appraiser, certified property umpire, Robert Rosado. Hello, Robert.
Hi, Steve. How you doing today?
We're doing good. Your name of your company is called Tropical Tradewinds.
Yep, that's correct.
And this is your first, kind of really your second night. We kind of brought you on early the other night, but we really didn't talk a lot about public adjusters. But tonight, I'm telling you, you want to write this phone number down because you never know when you're going to have that leak. You're going to have, let's just call it a small fire, but a lot of smoke damage, and you need to get that cleaned up. You never know when the roof is going to have a problem. So write down this number, 954-253-8210. We're talking public adjuster tonight. And I guess let's start off. Tell us about your company.
Tropical Tradewinds started back in 2009. So I've been doing this for just over 12 years. And I've gotten a lot of homeowners paid for damages that they didn't even know that they had in their homes. It takes an expert like myself to come out and take a look at the damage to see if it's a claim that should be filed or not. It's very important.
I tell you what, Robert, you have told me about stories of how much the insurance company, because remember, they're going to try to pay you the least amount possible. That's their job, and they're very good at it. So I'm telling you, you don't want to go up against them thinking you're going to save money. But you have told me some of the wildest stories, how you went from what the insurance company offered to what you ended up getting them.
Exactly. Just today, I received in the mail a check for a client of mine that we had to go through the appraisal process. It took a little bit longer, but he originally got paid $103,000 on this claim. And after the appraisal process, I was able to get him an additional $74,000 in his hand. And I gave him that check today.
Wow, that is amazing. That is amazing. Well, explain to everybody what a public insurance adjuster is.
Let me explain it this way. When somebody has a problem that requires an attorney, they're going to hire an attorney because the attorney understands the law and understands the procedures. So you would hire a public adjuster in a similar fashion because we understand insurance policies and we understand the procedures of the insurance policy.
Well, see, that's what's so important, because I know there's people out there that try to do this themselves thinking they're going to save themselves some money.
Oh, yes. You have no idea how homeowners believe they can do it themselves and rely on the insurance carrier to take care of them. Good luck if you do well. Very, very few people do well. And when they hire a public adjuster can get them much, much more money than they can do on their own.
So that's the main benefit. You can usually get them a lot more. And you know what I was telling you, my sister-in-law, they had water damage, and the insurance company was going to pay for half the tile, but it didn't really match.
Oh, yeah. In the state of Florida, there's a matching statute so that the insurance carrier cannot pay you for just 3 or 4 tiles. Because if you've placed those 3 or 4 tiles, they're not going to match. And that devalues your property. And you're not going to be able to sell it in its rightful condition. An insurance policy is supposed to indemnify the policyholder from their damages. And that means to bring them back to the state they were before the damage occurred.
So tell everybody the different areas. It's not just water damage that you cover.
Nope, absolutely not. It's not just water damage. It could be many other type of damages. In the policy, there's a checklist. And in that checklist, there's approximately 21 different causes of loss that are covered in the policy. And you have to know what they refer to and how to apply them in a damaged situation.
What percent would you say people who know what's in their homeowner policy?
Less than 2%.
Wow.
Even attorneys don't want to deal with their insurance claims. And I've done several attorneys.
So you also do fire and smoke removal. You also work.
No, I don't do the removal. I do the claim for the removal.
Right. Well, someone's got to clean up the smoke.
Correct. And that typically will come upon the restoration people. They'll come in and they'll have the policyholder sign a document which basically says that they're going to get paid by the insurance carrier. Now, in today's policies, they're only paying about 1% of the coverage A or a max of $3,000 unless it's approved by the insurance carrier.
Okay, so, and then not that you do mold removal, but you do claims for mold and mildew.
Yes. Now, everybody must understand, just because you have mold doesn't mean that you're covered. The only time mold is covered in an insurance policy is when the damage is under a covered loss. For example, if you have a water pipe that breaks and it floods out the house, mold can grow from that. Now, the broken pipe is covered. The water damage to the home is covered. Now, if that water causes mold, then now the mold is covered. But most policies have a limit of $10,000. Now, that $10,000 includes the person who comes out to do the hygienical testing or the mold testing, which is separate from the mold.
What about termites?
Termites are not covered.
Ooh.
They are not covered. And it's in the policy. It's not covered.
And you told me bats, which I went, bats? And raccoons are usually not covered. I'm going, maybe raccoons, because I've seen raccoons. They can cause some major damage. But bats?
Yes. Let's the audience understand one thing. An insurance policy has information in it that tells you what they cover. And if what's covered under the policy is damage that's caused under the policy, then you're covered for that. And you have, a lot of times, the carrier will see the damage and say, no, this is not covered. This is not covered.
Do you get involved if someone's house is broken into and there's valuables stolen? Do you get into that at all?
Yes, that's part of the 21 coverages that I mentioned earlier. There is theft, and you are covered for theft. And I've done a few of those where a homeowner was broken into and they caused damage. And I was able to get them paid when they broke in through the sliding glass door in this townhome that damaged the laminate flooring. And the laminate flooring went from the first floor to the third floor. And it was all matching, and I got the homeowner paid to replace all of the flooring.
Wow. How long does it usually take? I'll bet you your phones ring off the wall from customers saying, has anything been done yet? Have you heard anything yet? How long does it usually take from the time you get started?
Well, from the time that I signed the claim up, My average is anywhere from 6 to 8 weeks to close the claim 95% of the time.
Okay. So people don't also understand how you get paid.
The state of Florida has statutes that require a public adjuster to collect a specific fee. And we can only charge 20% of the amount that the insurance carriers give. For example, if the check is $10,000, you can only collect 20% of the $20,000.
Now, are there times where you have to go to court?
I don't go to court, but there are times where, and I've had a few of these, where I'll do everything I possibly can to get the insurance carrier to pay. But some of them put their heels into the ground and don't want to move. Those, sadly, are the ones that I have to go to either the appraisal process or refer them to an attorney so the attorney can take over from there.
But you just said you never use an attorney.
Very rarely do I use an attorney.
So what you're saying to me is you're very good at what you do.
Yes.
Okay. We're here with Robert Rosado. Give everybody your phone number.
If you want to speak with me, my direct phone number is 954-253-8210.
And we're going to go to break right now, and we'll come back with more Ask the Experts and Robert Rosado. Hi, this is Steve O. I endorse Tropical Tradewinds. They are licensed and bonded insurance professionals with over 10 years of experience helping guide policyholders through the complicated financial recovery process involved in presenting an insurance claim. No claim is large or too small for the team at Tropical Tradewinds. Tropical Tradewinds was a veteran and family-owned business with the discipline and experience to achieve success. They put their experience to work for you to get the funds you are counting on paid for and entitled to so you can rebuild after property loss. Tropical Tradewinds team have been proud members of the Florida Association of Public Insurance Adjusters for over a decade. They service water damage, mold, fire and smoke removal, and hurricane insurance claims. To get help with your claim, call 954-253-8210. That's 954-253-8210, and tell them Steve O told you to call. And we are back. This is the Ask the Expert Show. I'm host Steve O. We do this every Monday and Thursday night from 6 to 7. We bring in top companies in South Florida that hopefully will educate you and help you. Tonight, this is our home improvement show. We are talking about public adjusters. And I got to tell you, I think I have so much respect for public adjusters after talking to Robert Rosado. He is the owner. And does your son work with you too?
Yes, he does.
So this is a father-son family.
Absolutely.
Very, very nice. So you find out that, if Robert can't help you, there's no cost to you. So you can't, and you cannot blame it's too expensive. And the stories that he has told me, what the insurance company offered versus what he actually ended up getting, there's such a wide difference. Now, I'm not saying that with everybody, but the stories that he's told me have been unbelievable. Now, what is the difference between a public adjuster and an insurance adjuster?
Steve, that's a very good question. An insurance adjuster, also known as an IA, represents the insurance company.
Okay.
Their license is different than a public adjuster's license, and a public adjuster's license can only work for a homeowner or a business.
So, in the end, this is, I guess, can we call them kind of the enemy? They're on the other side. See, Robert's here He's the white hat guy, and the insurance company, because they have got so much money. I mean, they take your money in every month, and the least thing they want to do is pay on a claim. So their job is to pay you the least amount possible. When you have someone like Robert, he is going to get you the most possible, because if he wins, he gets a percentage of that. Who regulates public insurance adjusters?
The Department of Financial Services is the department that regulates public insurance adjusters, and we have to follow their guidelines.
So you have to be licensed.
You have to be licensed and you have to be bonded by the state. There's even fingerprinting that we have to provide them in order to get our license.
So I'm going to ask you something that probably no one would think to ask you, because with COVID, we have people who will email me about companies. So when you go into someone's house, wear a mask.
Yes. I respect everybody
Okay.
because not everybody wants to take a chance to be exposed to COVID.
Right.
I personally have already had my shots, but even with having my shots, I still respect my clients. And when I go to their homes, I ask them, do you want me to keep my mask on? Yes. Okay, no problem. And I proceed from there.
Okay. So he respects COVID. So if you bring him into your house and you want him to wear a mask, he will be doing that. What type of properties do you represent? Is it just strictly residential, or do you do commercial too?
I can do residential and I can do commercial. Mostly homeowners are the ones that I work with.
So, because I know a lot of times, like in a restaurant, they'll have a flood and it floods the person next door.
That's correct.
So you can handle that too.
Yes, I can handle that. As a matter of fact, several years ago, I did a chiropractor's office in where an empty unit next door had a failure of the supply line from the toilet, and it ran all night long. And when he came into his office the following morning, the water was coming out the front door. He was very upset.
Yeah, I would think so. Geographically, do you do Dade, Broward, and Palm Beach?
I do the Tri-County area.
Okay.
But I've also done claims in the Panhandle. I've done claims in Orlando, in Tampa. I've done claims in Leesburg, Inverness, Spring Hill, Ocala. So I
Okay.
basically go the entire state.
And, you know, we have a lot of people in New York who are snowbirds that should be writing your phone number down, because pretty soon they're going to be coming back.
Oh, yes. A lot of them are already back.
954-253-8210. So you cover a pretty big area. What should a property owner do once they have, let's say they've got a major leak? So they want to call the plumber first.
Correct. That's what the homeowner needs to do, and this is by the policy. The policy says that the homeowner has to mitigate the damages. Well, what's mitigate? What that means is to stop the damage from continuing. So if you have a leak and it's an active leak, you shut off the water supply to the home or to the unit if it's a condo.
Okay, so the plumber first.
Then you
When
would
do you
call.
come in?
I would come in when the homeowner calls me.
So, I mean, how long should they wait?
They shouldn't wait. They should get that done immediately.
Okay. Because they're probably going to get contacted right away by the insurance company. Or are they going to, how does it work? So you call your insurance company, you tell them the problem, they start working on it. That's when you need to be brought in.
I can be brought in after the fact or before the fact. So, for example, I just signed up a client this week. She had a supply line that went from the one side of the kitchen to the other side of the kitchen, through the wall, over the ceiling, and down the opposite wall, connecting to the refrigerator. The line failed. There was water streaming down the cabinets. It damaged the cabinets. It damaged the ceiling. And she had flooring that went throughout the entire home. Laminate flooring, expensive flooring. The first thing she had to do was get a plumber to fix it, to stop the damage. Then she was told to call me. I came in and I sat with her, explained to her what the policy says, how the policy works, and what a public adjuster works, how he works, and what our percentages are, and explained to them that in order for me to work for that client, they have to retain me like an attorney.
Sign a contract.
But I work and we work only on a contingency basis. So if at the end of the day, the insurance carrier says, sorry, we're not going to pay you, then the homeowners has options, and I explain to them what those options are. One of them is, if they don't want to pursue the claim any further, I say, fine, no problem. We shake hands. I give them my business card, and we part as friends.
Well, wait a minute. So if they retain you,
Correct. That's when my job
the
starts.
insurance company cannot contact them. Is that right? They have to go through you?
Typically, yes, but I cannot prevent the insurance carrier from contacting the homeowner.
Oh.
But the homeowner has the right to say, hey, guys, listen, I've hired a public adjuster. If you have any questions,
Call
call
them.
him.
What are the common type losses you see?
Primarily water damage.
Okay.
But there are other type of losses. Lightning strikes, hail, cars running into homes, fire, of course, theft, and as we mentioned before, bats and raccoons. Now, let me explain to you how those are covered. An insurance policy is a contract between the homeowner and the insurance carrier. And it's known as a unilateral contract because it's always leaning towards the insurance carrier. And if the damage that occurs is not listed as not covered, it's covered. If it's not excluded in the policy, guess what? It's covered.
It's covered.
So if in the policy it says that raccoons are not mentioned in it and raccoons come in and do damage, guess
It's
what?
covered.
It's covered.
Wow. That's amazing. What about somebody who hired an adjuster? They're not happy with the results. Can they come to you for a second opinion?
They can come to me for a second opinion, but I cannot get involved in the claim unless that particular adjuster gives them a release from their retainer agreement or their contract. Then I can come in and represent them on the claim.
Okay, what if someone does it themselves and then they settle? Can you come back in?
Yes.
Ah,
Yes.
love that.
Yes. And that's one of the...
Is there a time frame, amount of years, months that they have to bring you in after a claim's been settled?
Once a claim has been settled, they have up to 3 years to reopen the claim.
Okay, 3
And
years.
within those 3 years, they can hire me to represent them.
So if somebody received a check, they've settled, they weren't happy with the results, they can at least call you
Correct.
to come out, and you're going to tell them whether they got the right amount of money.
That is correct. And earlier
And
in
it
the
doesn't
show...
cost them anything.
Yep. And early in the show, I shared with you that I gave a check to a client for $74,000. I came in after the fact. He had already received $103,000.
Wow.
Then he called me in, and I negotiated another $74,000 in his hand.
That is amazing. So tell people, we only have a minute left. Tell people why they should hire you.
They want a homeowner wants to hire a public adjuster because we understand the insurance policies and we understand how to set up the claim properly so that the insurance carrier has all the information they need to adjust the claim properly.
The number is 954-253-8210. Tropical Tradewinds. And you know what? This is going to be rainy season. You want to write this number down because you never know. 954-253-8210. Robert Rosado, he's the owner of the company, and he will be back with us again next month on Ask the Experts. We're going to go to break, and when we come back, we've got our next show. Hi, this is Steve O. I endorse Tropical Tradewinds. They are licensed and bonded insurance professionals with over 10 years of experience helping guide policyholders through the complicated financial recovery process involved in presenting